Before we start, let's go to System Preferences, and once you open that, go to Keyboard, and then on the top it says Text. Press Text, and you know where it says change double quotes? Yeah, look at the last option where it's like kind of normal, change it to that, and same with single quotes, change it to the last one. Yeah, that'll help us a lot. In honor of Code Week, we are going to make a new Java video game. First of all, open up TextEdit. There are other applications that can use Java, like Eclipse, but we are just going to use TextEdit. There are all these fonts and stuff, and we don't need them. So go to Format and make plain text. This makes everything way easier for coding because we don't need those unnecessary things. Okay, now we have to make a class. So we should name it Public Class Game. The capsule over here represents a main or a method, and it's going to run whatever that's in the main, but it doesn't have to have a main yet. So type in public static void main and capsule. Inside the parentheses has to have something called the strings RAGS, and you have to put the square brackets. For now there isn't anything inside the main, so we have to put we have to make something called an output. Yeah, so by doing that, we have to write system.out.print ln parentheses semicolon, and type inside the parentheses in quotes. Remember quotes. Hello, comma, what is your name? And then close the quotation marks. The computer is asking us our names, but what do we put as an input? We make a new function, and it's called a scanner. Name it scanner sc equals new. Scanner parentheses and add a semicolon. We have to put something in the parentheses, right? So in the parentheses, put system.in. The scanner will let us input things. On the top of the entire TextEdit page, put import space java dot until dot scanner. This will let us import in the scanner file so we can actually start using inputs. Now let's answer the question. Hello, what is your name? So put in string sc.next parentheses semicolon and call it answer. So it would be string space and ans equals sc.next parentheses and semicolon. And now let's print out something. So again, we have to use system.out.println parentheses, and remember to use quotes. So quote, nice to meet you, end quote, and then so in order to say nice to meet you, like your name, nice to meet you Sehee, nice to meet you John, since we already inputted your name, right? So that's where the answer ans is. So all we have to do is after we put nice to meet you at an end quote, we just have to insert plus ans, and that will turn out to be nice to meet you, your name. Yeah. Now this time, write again system.out.println parentheses quote, do you like math? Question mark, end quote. Remember to always add the semicolon at the end of each parentheses. Yeah, and remember to add the quotes as well. Okay, now the system needs to figure out if the answer will be yes or no or anything else than yes. So we have to use this thing called if. So type in if parentheses, like open parentheses, and then ans answer equals 2 equals. So equals answer equals quote yes and another quote and then end parentheses. Make sure to add the squiggly brackets as well, like presented in this video. And we need to also we need to also print out a response to the yes or no, right? So this time, so using the system out, the print, the ln, that thing, we put inside the parentheses and quotes awesome exclamation point. Yeah, so now this time how would we respond to a no or anything that's not a yes? So we use this thing called we use this thing called the else if. So if an answer is not a yes, or it goes to another, or it's not a yes, or it's a no or something, then it goes to the else portion of the code. Type in else if parentheses ans equals quote no end no quote no end quote. Yeah, and then also remember to add the and squiggly brackets before else if. Place the start of the squiggly brackets in front of the yes. Now let's add a response. So type in the system out println and this time put in the quotes. Oh, comma I see period. Remember quotations and semicolon. At the end of the squiggly bracket here and place the starting one before else if. If you want a response that is not a yes or a no, then make another one that says else system out println parentheses quotation marks. Please remember quotes that is not a valid answer period, and then end the quotation mark. So now let's ask another question. If the user says yes, let's make them solve a problem, since it's too short right now. So this time add again system out println. So what is 1 plus 1? Now let's input a number or what you learned in math class, or it's called an integer. So we're making another variable called an integer, right? And let's name it ans2, which will equal sc.next parentheses semicolon, which is a variable we made previously, as you can see strings over there on the top. So write sc.next int, capital I nt, parentheses semicolon. If parentheses ans two equal signs, because we are checking the answer. And because it's an integer, it does not require a quote or a parentheses. So it does require parentheses. It doesn't require a quote. So now write if parentheses and ans2 equals 1 plus 1, and now close the parentheses. Okay, this time we should make a response. So system, now putting again system out println, and then in the parentheses write awesome, and then end the quotes. Now this time we should make another else if. So this time write else if parentheses using the same integer ans2. By the way, exclamation point means it does not equal. So write ans exclamation point equals 1 plus 1. So this means that if So now if
answer
the
2 is not,
if the user responses with the wrong
equals
answer,
1 plus 1,
right, system
then
out
what do we
print
do?
ln parentheses the answer was dot 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 quotes start of another parentheses and 1 plus 1 and end the parentheses 2 times because we added another one in the front. And then at the end add a semicolon and it should print out to 2 since 1 plus 1 equals 2. Since this was too little, this time we should make the user infinitely solve problems. So now let's use a for loop. A for loop is something that repeats over and over and over and over again. So type in for like FOR parentheses int I equals 0 and then add a semicolon and then I plus plus, and this will make it repeat infinitely. Now add system.out.println but can you solve? Since we don't want to keep the user only solving 1 plus 1 over and over again, let's add after it can you solve dot dot dot, and after quotes add plus I plus quotes plus quotes plus I plus quotes. An extra note is when you add 2 slashes, it completely ignores whatever you said in the slash because it's just used as like adding comments to help yourself. Anyway, now we should add ans2 equals sc dot next capital int parentheses and semicolon. And then add if parentheses answer 2 equals I plus I. And then add system.out.println. Nice. Now we can add continue semicolon, which means it ignores code before the loop. So like everything we did just now, it ignores it and it redoes the loop all over again. So now add else if parentheses answer 2 exclamation point equals I plus I parentheses, and then add a comment. So system.out.println wrong, and then put in the parentheses wrong answer. The answer was quotes plus parentheses I plus I parentheses and then parentheses 2 times. Now add break semicolon, which ends the game completely. Now since we're done with the game, we should probably save the game. So command S, which saves it, and then name it capital G and then game, so capital G with the capital G, and then .java, and then save it. So now how do we start the game or run it? How do we run the game? So go to your spotlight and then search terminal. Now the terminal is at students, like you know when you go to your finder and like students are file there. But our program is in desktop because we saved it in desktop, right? So let's add cd, and cd which means it goes into like this file would go into a certain folder. And then we have to input the folder name, right, which is desktop. So add cd capital D, so desktop. Now we have to change our game to another format so the computer can read it. In order to change it, we have to do Java C and type in the game name we named it, which is capital G game.java, and then we type again Java space game, and now we're done. It should run now. Yay!